Okay, this is for the Kraken 26 on relationship advice subreddit. I, 23 male, just found out that my ex cheated on me. I need advice on how to not let it affect my new relationship. Me and my girlfriend of 4 years broke up a couple of months ago. At the time of the breakup, it was all amicable, and I thought the relationship had just fizzled out and run its course. So it was easy to accept it was over and move on from. Now, 2 months later on, now 2 months on later, I found out that my ex had been cheating on me in the last months of our relationship. As you can imagine, I'm seething with anger over this revelation and feel like a complete fool. I've been seeing a new girl now for about a month, and she's wonderful. What I want to ask you all is how to best get over my feelings of anger from finding out my ex cheated on me and how to not let it affect my new relationship. Okay, so I've been cheated on. I've cheated, and I've been the other person doing like the third wheel in that situation. Hopefully I can give you some context. So one of the main reasons, and like I've been the other guy many times. I think less than 10, but pretty close. And yeah, I feel shit about it because I shouldn't have done it in any of those times. But I learned a lot of lessons from it. One thing I learned was that the women that cheated on their husbands, fiancés, or boyfriends with me were usually doing it out of a sense of lack, right? It was that their partner wasn't giving them something that they were desiring, or it was boredom, or it was just cheeky, or they were just being, a little bit of personal revenge without him knowing, whatever. I don't know the full context of your relationship with this young lady, but it would seem to be the case that she probably wasn't getting what she wanted out of the relationship. And that's okay. Her reaction to it is not okay. Cheating on you, that's not okay, but her emotional reaction is understandable and okay. I suppose what I would say to you is that if there was any fault on your part, which from what I can read, I don't think there is, I would take lessons from that. So for example, one lesson that I learned from doing all the bad things I've done is never let the woman in your life confide in someone else over you if they're a man, okay? Because, and that isn't to say stop her, but it's to say that if she starts doing that, you've got a fucking problem on your hands, okay? Most men, when they cheat physically. But most women, when they cheat emotionally. Now, there's obviously the emotion to the physical and the physical to the emotion. There's two components on both sides. But when women cheat, they're more concerned about the emotional connection in general. Not all the time, but in general. They're more concerned about the emotional connection with the person they're cheating with rather than the physical. Whereas because they're cheating mostly with men, they end up having sex because the man they're cheating with wants some sex, right? And so I would take this as a lesson. I would look at the pattern of behavior that she displayed and take that on board and internalize it so that you can look for the signs of this happening in the future, right? Now, that isn't to say that the girl that you're currently with is going to cheat on you like the last one did, but it means that you're looking for the signs, okay? Also, another thing I would do is if you want to talk to her about it, talk to her about it. Call her on her cheating if you want to, but don't expect any closure. What you should expect is for her to start, justifying it or denying it or whatever it is. And you can learn from that conversation too. If you've got nothing further owing to this young lady, emotionally, financially, spiritually, whatever, then you can ask her whatever you want, really get into a conversation, go into it, not accusatory though, because she would immediately get defensive and cut off the conversation. But if you're looking for closure from her, have a conversation with her, and I would, if I was in your position, I would probably tell the girl that you're with about it. It's up to you though. You don't have to. But if it is really weighing on your mind, I would tell this young lady that you're currently seeing in the future. Don't drop it on her now, just a month in. But if she asks questions about it, let her know and give her the context, because you need to establish a pattern of good communication with this new young lady. One of the reasons that you got cheated on is because the communication broke down. Now, that's not all your fault, okay? Now, you are not at fault for getting cheated on, but you may have some responsibility in the breakdown of the communication which led to the cheating. Now, when people watch this, they're going to freak out being like, oh, you're blaming the victim. I'm not blaming the victim. What I'm saying is, to avoid this in the future, you need lines of communication to remain open and active. Active is the key, okay? A lot of people have relationships in which the communication lines are open, but no one's calling. No one's talking to each other. Oh, babe, you can talk to me anytime about anything. But they just don't, okay? So I would take the lessons from that. Generally, in this situation, I would experience the emotions that you are experiencing. Really feel them. Feel the betrayal. Feel the anger. Feel the hatred. Feel all those, but don't act. Don't do anything. Okay? Really sit in them. Okay? Because you've got to remember that you are safe in your own head. Generally, we are safe in our own heads. And so I would feel them. And now the reason I'm saying that is because if we spend our lives running from that which we are afraid of, they will chase us until we die. Okay? So really feel it. And then after you've done it, and after you've calmed down, and after the feeling when you call back that thought is deadened, because that's what happens. Exposure therapy deadens our senses to the traumatic event. Once that's happened, you can have a chat to this girl. I would probably talk to someone that you trust, that has wisdom, and I would ask them what they think of the situation. I would also get yourself into a situation where you can just express yourself without someone interrupting you, but just them listening to you. Have a conversation in which you can just express all you feel. Not so that they can know it, but that so you can express it. Because you got to remember that one of the ways in which we process information is by talking it through and laying it down on the table, so then we can see what's on the table. One of the hard things about having something in our head all the time is that we never get to see it. When you tell someone what you think and what you feel, not how you feel, what you feel, there's a difference. When you tell someone what you feel in response to something happening in your life, you are then able to process it, seeing it. You become more aware of your own emotions and feelings, right? So I would do those things. Talk to her if you must. Personally, I wouldn't do that, but that's just me, because I'm someone who's able to have closure in myself. I make up whatever reason I need to and attribute that to them. Whether it's she was a slut, or whether it's she was a bitch, or whether it's she was, looking for something that I couldn't provide, or whether it was that I wasn't man enough, or whatever it was. Maybe the sex dropped down and she needed more sex, but I wasn't responding because of my own depression or anxiety or erectile dysfunction, whatever it is. And then what I will do is I will say, all right, that's the reason. Doesn't matter if it is, that's the reason, because it stops me from having to go back to it. Now, if you keep going back to this scenario, you probably need to talk to a counselor or a psychologist about it if it keeps replaying in your head and you don't get any peace, okay? But here's the truth. No one, not even her, will have answers that will genuinely be justified or enough. No answer will be enough, because those answers might be right, but nothing will justify or absolve her of this sin. And you will always be in your own mind the man that got cheated on, as I am. But now, part of that identity actually, for me, makes me stronger, because I now know what to do to avoid that in the future, right? So many guys that haven't been cheated on, they have an explosive reaction to it because they never could see themselves through the lens of someone who's been cheated on. They never saw themselves as what people call a cuck, right? They never see themselves as the victim. They never see, We are the hero of our own story, which means that when something like that happens to us, we completely freak out and we don't know what to do and we don't know how to feel. That's another one. We don't know how to feel, okay? I'm saying this to you. Feel whatever you want. Feel it. Really feel it. Don't do anything in response to those feelings and write it down, okay? If you want to write down how you feel, write down what happened, the situation, and then you can pick it apart, right? I would advise against forgetting everything and moving on, because obviously this is causing you some emotional, it's causing some emotions to rise up within you. I wouldn't ignore it. I would think about it. I would see it. I would process it and talk to someone that you love and trust and that has your best interests at heart. You can tell your girlfriend if you want. Again, I wouldn't drop it on her right now, but it's probably not a bad idea to tell this current girl, because it will give her more context for some of your anger or some of your depression or some of your behaviors, okay? Look, man, I hope it works out. Just keep in mind, I've been cheated on. I know dozens of guys that have been cheated on, okay? You are not alone. It doesn't make her a bad woman. It just means that she fucked up hard. She fucked up hard. And the problem is that when people cheat, because they've cheated, they now look for the cheater in every other person they fall in love with, and so she's going to have to deal with the burden of this for the rest of her, until she deals with it, until she processes it emotionally and changes her behavior and sees herself as someone that fucked up and then fixes it, so I wish you the best, man. Good luck.